Yo, what's happening, guys? KGC Epic here, and I'm going to bring up a question. I'm pretty sure you've asked yourselves or a friend, or if you've pondered in your mind or brought up on some fanboy sites or whatever. Who is stronger as a Genin, Boruto or Naruto? Now, the reason why I brought up this question is because I myself have asked myself this question, and it took some time for me to come to a conclusion. And I was wondering if anybody else has something different in mind, right? And the reason why I chose as a Genin over choosing them as adults or even as academy students is because as a Genin is when you're really considered a shinobi. Academy student is not really a recognized shinobi rank because you anybody could become an academy student, but it takes some sort of skill to graduate from the academy for starters. And as a Genin, you're just starting out, so this is where your talent or how fast you as a shinobi can progress really shows, right? Now, Boruto and Naruto, being father and son, have similar techniques because they're from the same clan, and obviously Boruto would walk in his father's footsteps. So if we have to compare, if we have to break it down for ninjutsus that they know, taijutsu, they don't really use genjutsu as Uzumaki's slash Hyuga or Uzumaki slash Namikaze. They don't use genjutsus and that sort of stuff, right? So in terms of taijutsu for starters, the only thing that I would say that Boruto has a decent edge on in Naruto would be taijutsu. Because if Boruto was to go training with his grandfather or his auntie or his mother, they would teach him taijutsu being part of the Hyuga clan, right? So he would have extensive taijutsu training in terms of like if he was to train with anybody from his mother's side of the family. Whereas if Naruto was training for himself as a genin, he wouldn't really have anybody to teach him that much taijutsu or people who are as gifted in taijutsu teaching Naruto, right? So I would think that Boruto would edge out Naruto in terms of taijutsu. In terms of ninjutsu, for the Shadow Clone Jutsu, I do remember Boruto effortlessly being able to produce three clones as an academy student, whereas Naruto couldn't even produce a single clone as an academy student. But you have to keep in mind that Naruto is had a lot of uh, trouble in terms of chakra control because the QB seal was placed on him at a young age and that used to restrain a lot of his chakra, right? But I do remember as a Genin, and this is where what we're counting. We're not counting them as academy students, but as Genins. When Naruto stole the scroll of sealing, I remember that when they were fighting, when Iruka and that other dude was fighting, Naruto was able to produce a whole bunch of clones. So in terms of clone number, I would probably give Naruto that in terms of clone numbering. I'm pretty sure Boruto is able to produce a lot of clones as well, but you have to give Naruto props for the amount of clones. In terms of smarts, in terms of like how they would fight and stuff, I'm pretty sure they would fight very similarly, being father and son. In terms of Rasengan, now this is where the talent comes in, right? Because Naruto learned Rasengan in a week, which is like an astounding thing to learn an A class jutsu in a week. Because the regular Rasengan is A class and Rasengan Shuriken is S class, right? But Boruto did learn Rasengan really easily. I don't think it was in a week. When I watched the Boruto movie, it was over a week. But the difference in that is because Boruto is not used to training. Naruto used to train like every day as an academy student slash genin, whereas Boruto was a spoiled child. He used to always just go and play video games and eat burgers with Shikadai and later on with more people, right? So you have to keep that in mind that Boruto's body isn't accustomed to that, and he just put himself up in that environment. He was still able to learn the Rasengan and even developed the Vanishing Rasengan. But in terms of Rasengans, I would say they're even. They're pretty even. You know, even though Naruto did learn it a bit quicker than he did, I would say they're even. In terms of fighting, and this is where it comes down to everything. We can compare everything, right? We can say that Naruto does know how to summon Gamabunta and that sort of stuff. That is where Naruto would definitely edge out Boruto. But I think that if Boruto given enough time and training, he would be able to summon a frog as big as Gamabunta, due to the simple fact that he's an Uzumaki and he has the same large amount of chakra that other Uzumakis would have. Just like Naruto, and given enough training and extensive chakra control and all that sort of stuff, he would be able to summon a frog the size of Gamabunta. So I would say that the summoning of Gamabunta won't really count. But I'm pretty sure that Boruto could summon a frog the size of Gamabunta. And we're not counting any Nine-Tailed Fox chakra from Naruto, right? No Nine-Tailed Fox boost. So, in terms of everything, after you break down everything, I would still give the win to Naruto if Naruto and Boruto were to fight as Genins. I would say that Naruto would still be the winner. And the simple fact for this is that at some point as a Genin, Naruto was actually very, very skilled. Like, I was impressed. Like, if you take Naruto from, and the strongest Genin point that I'm taking Naruto from is when he and Sasuke fought in the Valley of No Return, right? If you took that Naruto and you made Boruto fight him, Boruto would lose. And that is a simple fact, and that is why I still pick Naruto as the better Genin in terms of Naruto and Boruto, because that Naruto learned a lot, and he learned how to properly control his shadow clones, do a lot of shadow clone techniques. I remember him doing shadow clone ropes and all that sort of stuff in that fight. So I would say that the better Genin is Naruto, and even though Boruto would be able to, best him in terms of taijutsu, because I would give Boruto props for like his ability in taijutsu, for the simple fact that he's part Hyuga. Naruto would still turn out victorious, even though he won't be allowed to use Kyuubi chakra. I don't know if anybody has any other opinions on the subject. I don't know if anybody think different. If so, remember to leave your opinion in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, stay awesome, stay epic, and do awesome things with your life, man.